So hierarchy will be like this. So how you can handle the exceptions, that is the next question. So in my program, I have a program here. Statement 1, 2, 3 is there. Issue is at statement 2. So that means exception is raised at here. So how do I need to handle that exception? To handle the exception, here we have try, catch, and finally. So these are the three keywords we have: try, catch, finally. By using this, we can handle the exception. So how it will write in the same program, you are suspecting some issues happened at line number 2 or 1 or 3, whatever it is. So then how to handle that in the same implementation? Here, let's put it this way: try, and you are suspecting that issue might occur at statement 2. Then you can put the statement 2 inside this try and catch block. So here, this is the syntax for that. Let's take it as exception E. So this is the syntax. It's try and catch. This is one of the catch block, and this is a try block. So let's take the issue will happen at statement 1, sorry, statement 2. So statement 1, there is no issue at all. So if you're confident on that, no issues will be happened, then you can put it outside of the try block. So if you are suspecting statement 1, 2, 3 also might happen, okay, then better to put it in inside try. So for time being, I'm just keeping inside that statement 1, then statement 2, statement 3, like this. So if is there any issue happened, usually in our previous program, issue might happen at statement 2. So now if issue comes up at statement 2, it will go to catch block. Let's take issues happened here. Then it will directly move on to catch block. So like this, it will go to the catch block. Now statement 3 will not be execute anymore because my controller first it came here, issue happened, then it's directly move on to the catch block. So this is the way you can handle the exceptions by using try catch. There is another keyword, it's a finally. So usually finally will come at the end of that. Usually it will be having finally. This is one kind of block. Here, let's put it as statement 4. So this is the way the structure will try, catch, finally. What kind of code you are going to write it in finally? So usually the finally is going to write cleanup activity. That's nothing but whatever the objects you created at a try. So this everything execution is completed. You don't require that object. Okay, then here it is going to be clean up that. The example is, let's take the database connection, you get it. And a database connection, once you execute it, there is no need to hold that connection. You need to be flush the connection. So what you need to do then in the finally block, you have to be close the connections. So that kind of, I just give it one example. Similarly, multiple or will be occur. So the cleanup related stuff will be put it in finally block. So how this going to be execute? If you see the program, first try statement 1, 2, 3 will execute. Let's take there is no issue at all in the statement 2 and 3, then it won't go to catch block. So your controller will be execute 1, 2, 3, then move on to the finally block if there is no issue at all. If is there any issue happen, statement 1 execute, statement 2 is having issue, then your controller goes to catch block. After executing the catch block, then move on to the finally block. If you remember here, issue happened or not, finally block will execute always. So if issue happened, catch block will execute. If there is no issue, directly try statements execute, then your controller move on to finally block. If is there any issue happened, catch block will execute, then move on to finally block. So that is the way it's going to be invoke finally block it all the time. So that is the reason we are going to make all the cleanup related stuff in finally block. So whether you used it or not, so the finally stuff is going to be invoke at every time. That is the one thing you should remember. And another thing is, when you are going to use try catch finally, you need to be follow in certain standards, right? Certain order also. Okay. So usually when you are going to handle, let's take try you used, and if you're not using catch, no issues for that. If you're not using finally, no issues for that. But you should not use catch block without try. So catch block when you're going to use, there is try is mandatory. And finally, if you are using try is mandatory. Okay, so combinations, if you see here, when you are going to use try statement, if you use only try, then it is fine, no issues for that. So this is a valid one. The next thing is try with the catch block. This is also absolutely valid. Sorry, some syntax. It will be like this. Inside object is going to be right like exception, or what kind of is exception is going to be rise, you will keep it inside that. So the next thing is try finally, you can write these all are the valid scenarios. Okay, so invalid scenarios, if you see here, I'm going to write it, the invalid scenarios. So these all are the valid scenarios. Okay, so invalid scenarios, if you see here, you should not write only catch block without try block. Okay, you should not write when only finally. Okay, so I'm just putting some separation it here. And if you are using try, you should not write in between any statement. Let's take catches here. So this is invalid scenario, because when you are going to write try and catch, in between you should not write any statement, then it will give the error. And the next thing is try catch and finally. So this is also invalid scenario. Okay, so here these all are the invalid scenarios, these all are the valid scenarios, and this is also valid scenario. So these kind of things you should remember. And another thing is, if you see here, it's a multiple try blocks. Okay, try and catch blocks. Let's imagine I have a try block. So here statement 1. So internally again, if you want to add this way, there is no harm to that. Statement 2, if you see that the closing of that, how I'm going to close it, catch and again catch. So you can write finally here also, no issue. Catch, see this one. So whatever it has written, oh, at last. Let me rewrite that. It's lines get missing. So I have a try. So statement 1, then again try, statement 2, then catch block, finally catch block again, finally. If you notice here, this is one block, and again this is another block. So try state finally is 1, and this is another try catch finally. This kind of stuff we call it as a nested exception handling. Okay, nested try catch finally. So inside there is one more handling. Okay, this is also possible. And another approach is, this is one way, it's a nested exceptions. Okay, so there is another thing, like if you have a try, you can write catch. So if you see, it's a multiple catch blocks. So this is also valid scenario. That means try, if one issue is coming up, this catch block will invoke. If another issue comes, so then this catch block will invoke. So based on that, whatever the object you are placing here inside that catch, so then that associated catch block is going to be invoked. These kind of things is called it as a multiple catch blocks. Okay, so this is different kind of exception handling approach. Okay, so based on your scenario, you need to be use that. So that is called it as try with multiple catch blocks. Just few minutes back we seen, and try catch finally how we seen that this is nested try catch finally. Okay, so these are the different ways and how you are going to be display. Let's take exception is raised, and it goes to catch block. So you should display that exception, right?